thanks everybody for joining. This is Wild Ones Greater Cleveland's July chapter meeting. So we made it to July. It's the middle of the year. We're over the hump, but it's also the hottest part of the year here in Northeast Ohio. So hopefully everyone's natives are thriving and we don't have to do any watering, maybe. I know I have a planter out front that gets dry, so I gotta water that. But so our mission here is to promote native landscapes, native plants through education, advocacy, and collaborative action. And just kind of start off, we usually talk about what's blooming in our yard. And I know this time of year, there's going to be a lot. So maybe if we could all just share one flower that we have in our yard, if we have any. Because I know people like Kim, who's on, and Diab and myself have a lot. So maybe just picking your favorite that's blooming right now. And this image is of, and I'm probably going to get it wrong. I had ID'd it on iNaturalist and I forget what it was. It was some sort of dragonfly. He was hanging out. That's my Liatris, my blazing star. He stayed there. He was there like all night, just hanging out with us. So we would go over and check him out, and he'd still be there, or she, I guess. Oh, a widow skimmer. Widow skimmer.
Nice.
I don't know. That's what iNaturalist told me. Does anybody want to share a plant?
My early gold, I think I was telling you the other day, yesterday, my early goldenrod's looking beautiful, which the contrast of the yellow next to the yarrow, which is still going strong, that yellow and white is just such a beautiful combination.
That's good. I like
Yep.
it. Kim, what's your favorite thing blooming in your yard right now?
Always the jewelweed. The jewelweed starts blooming early and it just keeps blooming until until it freezes for the first time. So that's just
Right.
going crazy everywhere. I love it. The hummingbirds are loving it.
That's good. Kat, do you have anything in your yard that's your favorite?
Oh, I have tons of stuff. So right now I'm gonna say, let's see, I'm actually looking out at my backyard. I'm gonna say that my cup plant I love it. She's just such a big beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And so she just started blooming really just a couple days ago. So
That's good.
So when I walk out my back door, I get to see this big, robust, gorgeous.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
great. It looks like Kathleen in the chat is saying her swamp milkweed.
Oh yeah.
Mine has buds on it. I don't think they've opened yet, so that's very exciting. Does anybody else want to share? I feel like we have some new names on here that I haven't seen. Lantana. So I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but lantana is not a native plant. It is, I believe, from Africa. But it's what we would call here an annual. I don't think it's invasive around here. So, I've purchased it before as an annual to put in your yard because it's a great flowering, bright sunny thing. I don't know what Mimulus.
Monkey flower. Isn't that monkey?
Oh, monkey flower. Okay. Thanks, Kim.
That's one of my favorites. It's the best name because Ella, when we first got it, my daughter, who's 13 now, she was like 8 at the time, and monkey flower was the perfect name for her. Like she was the right age for it. So that's why I remember.
Yeah, that's great. Joe Pie weed. That's one of my favorites as well. We have one. I think it must be like 7 feet tall in the backyard this year. So do
you know what
it must like
is?
it. I don't.
Yeah, I can't tell apart.
I forget. I got it from a rain garden pack many, many years ago. I could probably go back and look, but I forget which one it is. Does anybody else want to share? It's okay if you don't. All right. Oh, the other thing that I've been talking about too is unfortunately the Japanese beetles have been loving some of our natives. My Queen of the Prairie, the shrubby St. John's wort, and the rose mallow. They're just feasting on it, and I've been knocking them off into a cup of water every morning and evening, and they just keep coming back.
Oh,
So,
that cup of water is a good idea because before this meeting, I must have probably killed 5 spotted lanternflies.
oh,
I just,
I don't know if you can do the water with the spotted lanternflies, but
if they didn't jump and fly, it'd be a lot easier.
they're
Yeah.
so fast. The Japanese
Uh,
beetles are just like, "Brr," they're all clumsy and they just kind of fall into the water, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, it's like
um,
their defense mechanism is to just let go.
Is to fall, yeah.
um,
Very true. All right, so here's a little agenda of what we're gonna talk about tonight. We have Kat Miller here. She's gonna talk to us about protecting our jewels of the night, supporting fireflies. We're gonna do some chapter updates. We have one very exciting piece of news as it relates to our Northeast Ohio native habitat corridor. And then we're going to talk about a few of the events we've had and show a few pictures of all the fun we had. And then we have a bunch of upcoming events. And I think that everyone is going to find something that they like and want to come and attend. So there's a little bit something for everyone. So I will introduce Kat. So the presentation will cover the firefly life cycle, physiology, and diversity, as well as firefly habitat needs and the environmental threats contributing to declines in abundance. We will also discuss what people can do to support healthy populations of our iconic jewels of the night. And Kat is retired and has moved on to her new career as an aspiring amateur naturalist and a master gardener with a passion for our native flora and fauna. So I'm gonna stop sharing. Hopefully. Oh, nope. There we go. And I think you are good to go, Kat.
I'm on. Okay. All right. Um, so, um, so, um, hello, everybody. I'm really happy to be here. I'm kind of excited to present for Wild Ones because I think it's such a great organization. And we were just chatting before this about the really good work and information that, Wild Ones gets out to the public. So I have been involved with Xerces Society for Invertebrate Conservation for a number of years as a volunteer ambassador. I'm also a Cuyahoga County Master Gardener, and so I have had a real passion and a real strong interest in growing natives and in learning more about invertebrates and how to support them in my personal environment. So I'm excited to talk to you about fireflies. I just want to make sure that everybody, if you're not familiar with Xerces Society, it's a pretty amazing organization. They do a lot of really good, it's science-based nonprofit, do great research work. They also have, Xerces has an incredible website. Everything on it, all of their publications, papers, pamphlets, data sheets, everything is all available to download for free. So if you're, ever looking for information about, invertebrates, about habitat restoration, conservation, yada, yada, check out xerces.org. It's a really good website. So I just kind of talked about this, their publications library. And again, other than the books, they do have some really great books that you can order online. You can also get them on Amazon. But all of their other information is available on the website. So I love Xerces and I'm really happy to be a part of them. All right, so we are going to just jump into fireflies. And let's see, let me catch up to myself. Okay, so Xerces started, working on fireflies a couple years ago because there has been a lot of anecdotal evidence, really worldwide about declining firefly populations. People just, say we just don't see them like we did years ago. Oops, I don't want to go there quite yet. So so Xerxes put this presentation together. I have learned so much by learning this presentation and doing my own research. And one thing I was not aware of beforehand is that fireflies are beetles. They are, even though we call them, they're variously called lightning bugs, glowworms, fireflies, they're either not flies, worms, or bugs. They are in fact beetles in the order Coleoptera, family Lampyridae. So all of the images you see on this screen are actually different kinds of fireflies. Okay. I also did not know that fireflies are really widespread. You can find them in every state of the country except Hawaii, throughout most of Canada. There are at least 173 species in North America and 2,200 and counting species worldwide. We actually have in Ohio at least 32 species. Not all 32 are like in our particular, northeastern corner of the state, but nonetheless, I think that's a lot of species that we find just in our very own state. They're found in a wide variety of habitats, everything from riparian woodlands to, canyons in the desert, but all of their habitats, the thing that the commonality is the availability of moisture. So fireflies are very dependent for their development on having a moisture-rich environment. Okay. So the other thing I didn't know was that there's different kinds of fireflies. So firefly, even though we, here in Northeast Ohio, we typically see the flashing fireflies, but not all fireflies flash. And not all fireflies actually even look like beetles. So all three of the insects that you see on the screen here are fireflies. The one on the right-hand side is probably the one the kind that you're most familiar with, and that's the flashing firefly, and we usually call them lightning bugs. Over 75% of North American species are flashing fireflies. Each species, though, has its own geographic range, has its own specific flash pattern, a specific time that it starts flashing in the evening, specific flight altitudes, specific heights they like to perch at, and actually even color variations in the bioluminescence. So some of them flash a little more yellow, some of them might flash a little more green, some actually flash a little bluish. So there is a really wide variation in how in fireflies, in their natural life cycles between species. In general, the females that I'm talking about, adult females, are going to be found on or near the ground. So they're going to flash just to announce their presence. The males are the ones that you see flying around in the air. So they're flying up at, whatever, depending on the species, whatever height, that they fly at. And they're flashing their specific flash pattern for their species. And they're letting the females know that they're there and waiting for an invitation to come down for a mating opportunity. And apparently, there's quite a bit of competition, and the females can be pretty choosy. So females may reject one suitor and favor another. And it's thought that, the male fireflies that are maybe a little bigger, flash a little brighter, are the ones that get the most mating opportunities. All right, so flashing fireflies. So that's most fireflies are flashing fireflies, but we also have glowworms. So we don't have, to the best of my knowledge, we do not have glowworms in our corner of the woods. Most of them are found in the Western United States. This particular photo is of a California pink glowworm. In most of those species, the females, the adult females, are flightless. So this is still a beetle. She's still a beetle, but she doesn't fly. She can flash. So she glows kind of dimly on the ground. The males are flighted, but they do not flash. So again, like there's all this species variation, like sometimes the females flash, sometimes the males flash, sometimes none of the adults flash. But in this case, the females kind of glow very dimly on or near the ground, and the males fly overhead looking for them. They don't flash, but they have enormous eyes so that they can see these females glowing down on the ground. And then the third kind of type of firefly that we have are called dark fireflies. So there are actually fireflies that do not flash at all, and they are active during the day. So they are using, well, actually, I should backtrack a little bit. I don't know whether you are all aware of this, but the reason fireflies flash, it's a sexual communication. Males are flashing to females, females are flashing to males, saying, here I am, come find me. And, hopefully they end up with a mating opportunity. Same thing with the glowworms, that the bioluminescence is used as sexual communication. In the case of the dark fireflies, they use pheromones. So they're active during the day. They don't flash at all as adults. But so they're looking for each other via pheromones. So you'll just usually find them perched, like on a, tree bark, maybe on some leaves. I actually took this photo of a dark firefly on my front door last summer. This is a Lucidota atra, also known as black firefly or woodland Lucy, and they're actually pretty common in our area. So you're highly likely to see one of these guys around. Let's see. Okay, so interestingly enough, fireflies have an amazing life cycle. They do go through a complete metamorphosis. So egg, larva, pupa, adult. The egg, larva, the egg, pupa, and adult phases are very short, not more than a couple weeks each. I mean, an adult might live for a month if they're lucky. In the larval phase, fireflies live for anywhere from 1 to 3 years. That also depends on species. It depends on habitat. I mean, there are some, some other factors that impact how long the larval phase goes on. But they look like little monsters, basically. So they are all, I mean, they have diverse appearances, but they all have, typically they have these kind of armored body segments. And they might even look a little bit like, I think this one on the upper left looks a little bit like an isopod. And let's see, sorry, hang on a second. They also can, and there are different, depending on the species, sometimes the eggs may glow, sometimes the larva may glow, sometimes the pupa may glow. So that is another thing that all these fireflies, regardless of whether they're dark fireflies or glowworms or flashing fireflies, they all have in common these bioluminescent communication systems. All right, so fireflies, this was something I learned that I was really fascinated by. Firefly larvae are voracious predators, primarily of soft-bodied insects that we would consider garden pests. So they love snails, slugs, earthworms. Maybe earthworms aren't really pests, but snails and slugs, they are fireflies' favorite prey, and firefly larvae, I should say. So what the larvae do is using their mandibles, they will inject their prey with a neurotoxin to immobilize it. And then I add on top of that a digestive enzyme to liquefy it and then literally slurp it up. So, nature is brutal. But I had no idea that these beautiful little magical twinkling fireflies that fly around at night go through this larval phase where they're just like voracious predators. But the upside of that is that they provide a really valuable pest control service. So you want fireflies in your yard, you want the larvae in your yard for sure. Okay, now the adults, on the other hand, mostly do not eat at all. So they do all their eating in the larval phase. Okay, there have been fireflies observed sipping some nectar or a maple syrup off of trees, but that's far and few between. They're not really, I mean, they might move a little pollen around, but you really wouldn't consider them pollinators. The exception to the adults not eating are females in the Photurus genus that actually eat other fireflies. So these predatory females will have somehow evolved the ability to mimic the flash patterns of females of other firefly species. So they will sit on their perch, flash like a female of some other species to lure a male in. And when he comes down thinking he's, this is his lucky night, she'll grab him and eat him. And there are several Photurus species that the females will do that. Okay, so are fireflies in trouble? In word, yes. And even though there is not comprehensive data, because there's so many different firefly species, not all of them have been surveyed. We don't have population numbers for all of them, but the ones that have been surveyed, there are many indications that populations are in serious decline. And if you are familiar with, I'm assuming that most of you are actually pretty familiar with, the general consensus in the scientific community that, insects in general, invertebrates in general, are declining in diversity and abundance. So fireflies, suffice it to say, they are no exception. And they're declining for mostly the same reasons that most other invertebrates are declining, populations are declining. So, major threats I'm sure you've heard this before, people talking about other kind of insects, but habitat loss and degradation, light pollution, pesticides, things like poor water quality, invasive species can be really destructive to fireflies, and also climate change. So, for instance, like we've been in sort of a drought here in the Cleveland area, and fireflies, remember, are like really need a moisture-rich environment. So anytime there are extended droughts, fireflies are going to suffer. So we'll talk about each of these just really briefly. I think that habitat loss and degradation is something we're all familiar with. And, it takes a lot of different forms, whether it's a woodlot being chopped down to put in a new subdivision, or a commercial strip or whatever. And there's other things we don't necessarily, that we're not seeing as directly, like, groundwater pumping, or, just habitats that get, chopped up in different ways. So, all the fragmentation going on, but, so that, as it is to many other insects and invertebrates, that's impacting firefly populations. Pesticides are huge. pesticide use. We know it's ubiquitous. And pesticides can affect fireflies, both directly, like for instance, if fireflies are out flying at night and, or at dusk, if it's a dusk flying species and a truck is coming around spraying for mosquitoes at the same time, the fireflies are toast. So it could be direct, or indirect. I mean, it can impact the larval food sources. It can impact the actual vegetation that their food sources use. So pesticides is always a big one. Climate change. I think that climate change is just impacting, whether we're talking about plants or invertebrates, I think that's impacting every species. So fireflies, again, no exception. Light pollution is, in particular for fireflies, is a very serious threat. And we're all familiar with photos like the ones on this slide, the urban sky glow, and you see the photos from satellites, just showing the earth completely lit up. Because fireflies can only reproduce by finding, like at least the flashing fireflies and the glowworms can only reproduce if they can see each other at night, and they can't see each other at night if there's too much ambient light. So that's a big problem for them. So it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff, and it's the same things that we talk about with other kind of, invertebrate conservation issues. But there are actually things that we can all do to help fireflies out. So first of all, we just need to understand what they need. So they need habitats that are safe from pesticides, and I can't see the rest of my slide here. Hang on. And from pesticides and other threats. So they need moisture in their habitat. They've got to have food. They need shelter. And very importantly, they need dark nights. So what can we do to provide those kind of things for our fireflies? One of the things we can do, I'm sure you've heard about this, I'm sure lots of folks have talked about this, is leaving the leaves. It's a really interesting kind of issue I find in talking to people, because there are so many reasons people have not to leave the leaves in their yard. And I get it. Not everybody lives someplace where they can just leave their leaves all out, and have it destroy the grass, et cetera, et cetera. But the more you can find opportunities to have leaf litter somewhere in your yard, whether you're raking it into your garden beds in the fall, whether you have a space somewhere that's not real visible that you can, just pile up the leaves. But leaves are, first of all, they're not just important to fireflies, they're important to so many other invertebrates in so many ways. But, with fireflies, most of their prey lives in leaf litter, and leaf litter increases your soil moisture. So by leaving the leaves, you're providing like perfect habitat for firefly larvae to thrive. Okay, so also, I would say, I know this slide says mow less often, and that's really a good thing. The other consideration, though, given that many of us probably live in the suburbs somewhere, and we can't just let our grass go for a couple months at a time, is just to mow higher. Because remember that not only are the larvae down in the at the soil level, but especially when you start seeing fireflies in the summertime and you're seeing them flashing, those females are down in the grass. So if you're mowing too low to the ground, you're going to be chopping up all your female fireflies. So basically, the more the less often you can mow and the higher you can mow, the more likely you are to be helping fireflies and not killing them. The other thing is, and yay, plant native, right? So native plants are just the best for all of our wildlife. And for fireflies in particular, I mean, the more biodiversity you can get in there, you provide different perching heights. Some fireflies will rest or use, hide during the day in tree bark. The base of bunch grasses. I mean, anything that you're doing to increase the overall biodiversity in your space is going to be helping fireflies. Not to mention the fact that if you have enough tall species in your space, you're also helping to kind of have a little bit of a barrier for light pollution. So I'm sure you've heard this as well. Leave things a little bit messy, a little bit wild. So the more, wild things need wild places. So the more you can kind of leave some debris or leave some dead branches or logs, not have everything be mulched and mowed to, within an inch of its death. The more you can do that, maybe add a water feature so you increase the moisture availability. The more you do that, you're basically helping all invertebrates. I mean, I've given Xerxes talk about pollinators, and we say the exact same thing when it comes to providing good habitat for pollinators. Eliminating pesticide use, that's huge. I know I'm preaching to the choir. The less we even think about using pesticides for cosmetic purposes, the better. Anyone who is using pesticides so that they can have a perfect lawn with no weeds or dandelions is basically they're creating an invertebrate desert in their yard. So I'm imagining that most of you are pretty familiar with that whole issue. The other thing, though, that we can all do that is extraordinarily helpful for fireflies is to reduce the light in our yards. So, just by reducing or eliminating unnecessary outdoor lighting, trying to use dimmer bulbs outside, use motion detectors instead of leaving, lights on all the time outside. Me personally, a couple years back, we put string lights up on our front porch. We have a big covered front porch. Put these string lights up, set them on a timer, and then they'd be on for a couple hours at night. I'd come home in the evening and see my beautiful lights glowing on my front porch. And I loved that. I was so happy until I realized that all the work that I was doing, planting all these native plants and trying to attract pollinators and other, invertebrates into my yard, I was undoing by having these lights on at night. So now I no longer have the lights. And guess what? I have fireflies in my yard. And it's pretty awesome. It's been really nice to see. The last couple of years, I've seen a lot of fireflies in my yard. So it's been very gratifying. Okay, so ultimately, you want to leave things, if you can, have some areas you can leave a little wild. Maybe have a way to get some moisture, some water in your yard, and do everything you can to eliminate light in the nighttime. These are the things that we can all do to help support our firefly populations. I want to show you just a couple pictures. The picture on the top is a photo of our most common firefly in the eastern United States. This is Photinus pyralis, the Big Dipper. These are the ones you are most likely to see in your yard in the evening. So I know these are the ones that have been flashing in my yard recently. The bottom photo, I just thought this was interesting. This is one of these predatory Photurus females. And I love this photo because she is in her hunting stance. So they're kind of, most of these Photurus species kind of have this like humpbacked stance. And so while she's flashing, mimicking the female of whatever other species, to lure the male down, she's kind of crouched over like that. And I like that because she looks really ferocious. All right. There are a couple really good books out there if you're interested in learning any more about fireflies. The one on the left, Fireflies, Glowworms, and Lightning Bugs, by Lynn Frierson Faust, is excellent. I got that one as well as the one in the middle, Silent Sparks by Sarah Lewis, both out of the library. I ended up buying the Faust book for my own personal library. It's a really good, she has very good general information about fireflies, as well as lots of really great like species identification. You know, lots of good things about being able to ID species. And she is very impressed with this writer because she is probably one of the most well-versed people in the United States in terms of firefly science. And she is not a scientist. She's just a lady who grew up in Eastern Tennessee with a passion for fireflies and has done all kinds of research and probably knows more than any scientist in the United States. She's really cool. Xerces has a number of really good firefly resources. They're all available on the website. So again, you can pull them up, download them for free. I do have the links to most of those available. If anyone is interested, I could put in the chat while you guys are doing your meeting, or however that works out. But you can also just go to the Xerces website and put fireflies in the search bar, and you will pull most of this stuff up, and it's really good information. So, and just in terms of Xerces, just want to let you know they have a really great podcast called Bug Banter and a YouTube channel, and that's what I got. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you listening, and I hope that you now are able to look at fireflies and kind of see them in a whole new light, so to speak. No pun intended. All right, thanks everybody.
I love it. Thank you, Kat. I think we have a few questions. I think you answered the one Kim had asked a while ago, do all fireflies fly? And I think we kind of went through that as you explained the different kinds.
Yeah.
Kathleen just asked you, can you talk a little bit about synchronizing fireflies in our area?
Oh, well, we don't really have any in our area. Not like in Northeast Ohio. I know there is a large population in, I don't know if it's North Carolina, maybe it's in the Appalachians. And there's actually a huge, well, I don't know if it's huge, but there is a firefly tourism industry. And I think Xerces actually has some, has a publication about that. So that's a big deal. Down in, again, I think it could be South Carolina, but I think it's North Carolina. The thought is that that synchronization is due to the fact that there's such a multitude of that particular species of fireflies that if they were all just kind of flashing randomly, it's too hard for them to really locate each other. Like the female, it's like it confuses the females. So when all the males are flashing in synchrony, they're actually able to see the females, the males better than if they were just kind of, like just thousands upon thousands of them flashing at the same time, but randomly. So that's the thought there. I think there is also, well, it might be Japan. There's some place in Asia where there's a big synchronous firefly, like it's like a people go, like it's a tourism thing, people go to see it, but I don't believe, and I could be wrong. I'm not, I mean, I've learned a lot, but I wouldn't consider myself a firefly expert, but I don't believe there are any in our area.
I had the opportunity to go on a tour with Cleveland Metro Parks about 4 years ago, and they took us out to Holden and some other places out east, and we definitely saw the synchronizing fireflies
Did
out
you?
there.
Okay.
Yes. And
All
so
right,
there's someone over at North Chagrin Nature Center that is, I can't remember her name right now, but she was our leader.
and you don't remember like what species it was or anything, do you?
No, because there were several.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, thanks for sharing that. I didn't know that. So that's really good to know. And actually, if they do that, I don't know if they do that tour every year, but I'd like to see that at some point.
I have no idea if they've done it again. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. But I'll keep my eyes open for something like that because I think that would be really awesome to see.
One of the you were talking about one of the national parks in the Carolinas, they have a lottery for their synchronous firefly event. It's one of the locations inside of the Smoky Mountains. I've entered it now 3 times and have never won. It's a
Like
lot
there's
of
so
people.
many people who want to go
Yep.
that they have to limit the, oh
They do a
wow.
lottery. Yeah.
Wow.
And
It's
they have
crazy.
like thousands upon thousands of applicants, and they only pull a handful because obviously they're protecting.
Right.
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 They want to make sure you can keep the secret of the location too. They do a background check.
You can only come if you promise to tell no one.
You sign a
Sign an NDA.
Right?
wow. Well, but that's also cool that so many people want to go see it too.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes, for sure.
I mean, it's got to be an amazing natural phenomenon. So,
Absolutely.
but I'm real curious to follow up and see what the metro, if this is happening in the metro park somewhere, even that would be awesome to see. So, yeah.
I have a tidbit of information that I learned last week. And this is for Summit County. I don't know if Cuyahoga County does this, but I learned that when the county goes through and sprays or fogs for mosquitoes, that you can actually get on a no spray list for your address through the county health department. And I forget exactly, it sounds too good to be true, but apparently they stop like a certain amount of yards before your house, and like they'll stop the sprayer if they go through your neighborhood, and then they'll start it again, however many feet or yards from your house. To, and you can check the schedule too to see like what neighborhood they're going to be in. So I didn't even know that existed. So for those of you in Summit County, I can drop that
Please do.
that link
I
in
question guys who are in giant spray trucks killing massive amounts of insects. I question
I know.
how careful they're
Yeah.
going.
It's
to be,
almost
but
like you
I
have to
like
get
the
all your
idea
neighbors in on it, so that
to
way there's
sign
like
in
a
too,
whole
yeah.
chunk of addresses that they have to avoid.
Yeah.
But who knows? But yeah, I can share that. But I learned that, and I thought it was timely with you were talking about pesticides as well. So does anybody else have any questions for?
Oops. What did I just do?
You did stop sharing, which is
Let's see. What did I just do here? Let's go back to here. Screen. Come on. No. I don't know. I don't know what I pressed that made that go away. Previous. Let's see. No.
I started sharing again. Can any thumbs up if you can see it?
Let's see.
I can see your slide,
Okay.
Janice.
Okay. All right. Kat, like I mentioned, feel free if you want to stay on and hang out with us. Or if you have gardening to do tonight, or
I
you
would
know, go
probably
grab
hang
dinner.
out for a little bit. I want to I want to hear what you guys have to talk about, and I might not stay
Wonderful.
the whole time, but yeah, I'd
Okay.
like to kind of check out what's coming up, and yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that'd be
all
great.
right, here we go.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Kat.
You are very welcome. My pleasure.
All right. So as of today, since last June, we have 11 new members, which is very exciting. I always try and look to see if anyone on that list is here tonight because I love to call people out and possibly say hello and welcome. But it doesn't look like anybody's on. So you all are safe for tonight, but we're very excited to have 11 new members this month. And if you're not a member, feel free. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. I'm just going to drop all the links. That'll take you directly to join our Greater Cleveland chapter. All right, here's the big news, everybody. We now have 200 gardens that are signed up for our Northeast Ohio Native Habitat Corridor, which is
Huge.
it's not surprising, but it still is at the same time. Like I knew we were going to get there because it was increasing steadily. And now we got there. So I'm sure we just got to it yesterday, I believe. So we'll probably plan some kind of maybe giveaway or something fun to do to celebrate. So thank you to everyone if you're on this call and you have joined our Native Habitat Corridor. The map is wonderful to check back on every few weeks and just see how many more pins are on. And now there's 200, so it's very exciting. This,
Sorry to interrupt.
it's
Once
okay.
you're on, do you have to renew, or once you're on and you're just good?
Once you're on, but you can update your information. That's a great question. I believe on our website, and Diab, you might know too.
Yeah,
But I
there.
believe on our,
Oh, go on.
no, I was gonna say if you go to, you know,
Well, yeah,
uh,
it lets you sign up, and then there's an option to like update with pictures or update your description.
yep,
But yeah, once you're on it, you're on it. But then you can change pictures, update your bio. Yeah, the only thing that's yearly, which I have to actually renew mine, is the Wild Ones membership. I think mine
yeah.
expires in like 2 weeks or something.
Oh, you're gonna be on the list.
Yeah, so I think I'll do that tonight. But yeah, it just reminded me, I'm like, it's July already?
I know,
July
I know.
15th already? But yeah.
No, that's good. That was a good question, Kim, and thank you, Deb, for that information. And I know I should update this map every time we have a chapter meeting because it doesn't look like this anymore. It looks, you know, it looks different. If you're not on, it is free to join. We usually recommend that you have a minimum of 3 native plants, so that way you are supporting your local native friends, like we just talked about the fireflies and all sorts of habitat in in your neighborhood.
Yeah, to be on it is free. The only cost is the sign, which I
Mm-hmm.
bought mine last summer and it still looks beautiful. It's not sun faded because that was a big worry. I was like, is it going to sun fade? It still looks brand new.
Yep.
And just when you come home and just see it, you just always feel this pride seeing it standing tall in your garden.
Yeah, that's great. And that's, you know, that's a good point, Diab. You know, we did uh research a lot on what signs we were going to go with before we did purchase. And the sun fading was definitely one of the things that went into the decision for which signs we actually got. Knowing that it was going to be in someone's yard, you know, typically in full sun, and making sure that it would not fade. So that's great. So I know since we are at 200, our corridor chair or coordinator, Aaron, has requested that if you want to get more involved with the corridor, you could volunteer to be on our Habitat Corridor application processor team. That is a mouthful. That's what Diab is on, and we have a few other members who are on there as well. It's basically just behind the scenes. Once we get one of the garden applications, it's just kind of like processing their information so that way they can get on the map. Because everything we do is volunteer run. So, you know, it's not just like, hey, you submit the form and you automatically are put on the map. It's not any fun electronic magic. It's us doing it. So with it being a little bit, we've had a little bit of uptick in gardens, it would be great to have someone to help process the application. So if you're interested, you can choose an email. This is our Gmail, or I have all these handy we have a fun form you can fill out to show your interest, or there's our email as well. We'd love to have you. Okay, I think we went through this in our last chapter meeting, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone was aware. We have 2 new very exciting website updates. So our volunteer with us page has been updated, and there's this cute little movie. So this is our homepage. If you click get involved up at the top and volunteer with us, there is this is a little outdated now, but event volunteering right now, it says July and August, and there is a link to click to our sign up genius if you would like to volunteer to do any information tabling with us. And there's also like the Habitat Corridor form link that I just put in the chat. There's committees on here. So you could also be on the Northeast Ohio Native Habitat Committee, and it just kind of, you know, it's a way for you to drop your information in for us to see it if you'd like to help plan any of our activities. So the other one we have is our annual meeting, which is usually in December, and then our garden tour committee, which is full go right now, planning our garden tour events that kick off this weekend. So there's a form for each of those. You know, if you feel like volunteering that way, or we have quite a bit of you know, just kind of like an ongoing role listed here that we're going to try and keep updated. But as volunteering goes, it might not be the most up-to-date list, but it's there for everyone to read, and it's got the nice little bullet points of what's included with every position. The other exciting part of our website that's updated is we've started adding more of our educational worksheets and handouts, and this is very exciting. We started out with just our winter sewing. So if you're on our main webpage and you go to resources, this first tab here, educational worksheets, will take you, and you can choose from winter sewing. When we had our social and workshop at Diab's home for removal of invasive English ivy. So that worksheet's on there. It gives some background information of why it's invasive and how to remove it. And then Kim had her native shrub propagation from softwood cuttings workshop as well. And that's kind of like a how-to as well. And then also the butterfly puddler how-to that we just did 2 weekends ago. So you're able to view the PDF on the website, or you can download it. So that way, if you want to print it off yourself or look at it a different way, you have options available. So we'll be adding to these as we get more, as we do more workshops and have more educational handouts. So keep an eye out. We'll try to update everyone when we get new ones. So All right. So speaking of volunteering, these are gonna be the places that we're gonna be at around town coming up here in the next month or so. So those nearby to Old Brooklyn, we're actually gonna be at the farmers market in July, August, and September. So is Saturday right? I don't think Saturday's right. I think I forgot to change the day. I'm so sorry. It's Thursday. It's not Saturday. Oh boy. Okay.
Oh, good.
Ignore that it says Saturday. They're Thursday evenings during the week, from 5 to 8. So you can go pick up some veggies, and come over and say hello to wild ones, and we can talk about what plants are blooming in your yard or how to get rid of an aggressive invasive that you have in your yard or whatever you want to talk about. So that starts next week. We're going to be at the Tinkers Creek Watersheds Family Fun Day again. We were there last year. It was outside. This year it's going to be inside and outside at the Twinsburg Community Center. That's going to be on for real Saturday, August 9th. And then the Domebrook Watersheds Take to the Lake. That's in Shaker Heights. Registration is open for Take to the Lake, and they do canoe and kayak lessons. And they have a guided hike through the park, and they're also doing a yoga session. So you can go to Take the Lake's website, which did I add it in here? I did not. And register for, it's on our website. Register for one of their events or come just stop by the Wild Ones table. So this is a QR code. This is what I do have a link for. This is for our Sign Up Genius. If you do want to volunteer and table with us and have tons of fun and talk to people about plants all day, feel free to sign up to join us at one of our information tables coming up. And then one kind of recurring role that we're looking for right now currently is a communication chair. And it's basically to keep all of us leadership on our toes and to make sure that we're sending out emails when we need to be. You know, with us gaining so many members and us having so many activities, it would be great to have someone with really good organizational skills and scheduling, you know, have that calendar in their brain of, you know, when to send emails out and when to send reminders out for certain things and crafting these communications to our members and really making sure that everyone is aware of what we have going on. They'll probably work closely with our newsletter chair and also our social media team just to make sure that they know everything that's going on as well. So that sounds like something you'd be interested in. You can send us an email. We'd love to talk to you. All right, so some recent events that we've had. We did a behind the scenes tour at Avonlea Gardens. I unfortunately was not there. Was anybody on the call there that day? I think it was raining, so the turnout wasn't great, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think I worked that night. It was one of the ones I missed, sadly.
Yeah. The pictures look gorgeous. You can see everybody in their rain boots, though.
Oh, they do. It looks cool too with all the coats on. Because
Yeah.
this heat is getting a little too excessive. But
Yes. We did help in Pitt Park for a green up day, just kind of doing some maintenance at the wetland garden, native garden that they have. It's funny to see all the water here because a week later we were there for our next event and it was bone dry. So it's very interesting to see the hydrology of the site. we had one of our board members, Allison, do a virtual webinar on the importance of native plants, which I believe is updated on our YouTube now. So if you're newer to native plants and you might not understand everything that's going on, this would be a good place to start. And we celebrated our 1-year anniversary of our native habitat corridor at Impit Park, which is up on the west side of Cleveland, in the West Park neighborhood. And we had a really great attendance. The weather was gorgeous that day. We had a tour of a guided walk through the woods there. Ray Stewart, who's another one of our board members who assisted Friends of Impit Park design their wetland native garden, was there and gave us a guided tour of the garden itself. This is Kate, who is kind of the leader with Friends of Impit Park. She's been a great partner with us and mentor and showing us, how to run things and how to throw a good party. So it was great. It's great to have that partnership with them and really be able to take advantage of that. We had our butterfly puddler workshop. Kim, do you want to say anything about it?
Yeah, it was fun. We had a really good time. It was the 5th of July and it was a brutally hot day, so we didn't have an awesome turnout, but the people who showed up, we had a very good time and everybody walked away with the stuff to bring a butterfly puddler home. But it was a good event and it was a gorgeous location. I hadn't been to the park prior, but it's over in Portage and it was an absolutely beautiful setting. So we had a good time.
Good. That's wonderful. So if you have butterflies that are coming to your yard and you want to give them extra goodness.
Yeah. Well, the
should,
puddler, for
puddler.
those who were not in attendance, the reason why you have I learned this as I was doing the butterfly puddler. The reason why you have a puddler is because you put the sand in with compost or manure, and the breakdown of all the enzymes and the minerals and the salts is very beneficial to the male butterflies, who will suck all of those good things up and then add it to the little sperm packets that they then pass on to the female butterflies. So it's almost like a prenatal vitamin. Is kind of how I thought of it. It's like a butterfly version of a prenatal vitamin.
That's
But they have
awesome.
better fertility rates and better success when they do have those little extra packets of nutrients.
That's awesome. That's a great way. That's a very relatable way to explain that. So thank you. And I'll have to, and that was Dix Park out with Portage County.
Well, actually, Janice, if can I ask a question about the puddler really quick?
Of course.
Because that was another event I had to miss, because that's the downside to working nights.
Mm-hmm.
But I have one of those ones, it's like a yellow one to I think yellow is a color that attracts their eye. But I do not have sand in mine, just water and rocks. Would that not be as attractive as one that had sand?
Correct. But it's the sand mixed with the compost, though. So you need that organic material to break down so that they can more easily get to all of those enzymes and all of the proteins and all of the good stuff. So the same reason why you put, you can see that little dish there in the picture, the same reason you put overripe fruit out is it needs to be overripe, because that starts to break down, the decomposition starts to break down and make all of those nutrients more bioavailable to them.
Okay, I'll have to check out the worksheet they uploaded, because
Yeah.
I see some, but I'm like, where are all the bees and butterflies coming to the
Well, the bees won't go to the puddler. So the bees don't use a puddler. The puddler is just for the butterflies.
the
And
butterfly? Okay,
interestingly,
gotcha.
most and some moths and most butterflies will puddle. It's called a puddle club. When you get a bunch of butterflies at a puddler, it's called the puddle club. Who knew?
And the
Okay.
water,
go
the water could still be beneficial, because I've
Oh,
seen
for sure. Yeah.
the bee drinks. I don't know how to describe it.
No,
But,
actually, I
other
stood.
not just birds, but like
Mhm.
other insects will come and use the water source as
Oh
long as
no, I stood very still the other day while gardening and I watched I believe a wasp go to the bowl, kind of stay on the rim for like 30 seconds, and it looked like he was drinking. And
that's
I was
cool.
just like stay I was like, let me get my camera, and I was scared my movement would have him fly away. So I do see it used, but
That's
maybe I'll
good.
keep that one with water and then make a separate one like Kim has here.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Well, I
Yep.
have some extra supplies left over. I'll bring you some.
Okay, awesome. And I believe I still have some of your green and clear seed starting things too from April, so maybe we can exchange that too. Perfect.
I like this plan. All
Yes.
right. So, as far as Wild Ones National goes, their photo contest is now open. So you have to be a member to submit and vote. So entries are due by August 29th, and the categories this year are living things, home landscapes, signs of spring, and events. Um, so if you're an avid photo taker, I would recommend uploading. It was so much fun last year looking through all the photos because there's like a member voted like best photo, and I forget, I think you can vote for three. Um, but it was so cool looking through other people's photos, like across the country at their native landscapes and all of the cool birds and butterflies that they pull in. So be on the lookout for that too. All right, here's the good stuff. Who's ready? So, kicking off this weekend, we have our native garden tours, and I'm really excited about this. Um, This one, our first one is on the west side of Cleveland. So it's going to hit a few neighborhoods on the west side, um, some houses in Lakewood and Berea. We are doing registration for these. So that way, once you register, since it's on Saturday, we're going to send out all the detailed information like addresses and what you can expect at each house about a day before, 2 days before. So that way, we're keeping privacy to a minimum and everything like that. But an exciting, newer revelation to this is there is I hope I don't mess up what this description is. There is a property in Lakewood that's a reuse project, and it just got finished up last year, and it's an old church that's converted uh, into new uses, and there's a few other commercial retail buildings out front, and they put 100% natives in their parking lot. And they have a rain garden and all sorts of things. And, when you think of newer development, you think, oh, we're putting in our burning bush and our miscanthus grass, and that's it. And so when we learned that this property was doing this, Wild Ones Greater Cleveland helped kind of massage their planting plan for them and make sure that they were going to have the best possible result for a thriving ecosystem across their property. And they've graciously joined our tours, and they're going to do our kickoff starting at noon to 1. They're going to do a guided tour around the property, and they're going to do a wine tasting. One of their vendors, or not vendors, one of their leases in their building is Lakewood Bottle Shop, and they are graciously going to offer some wine tasting for everyone. So if you can't meet there at noon for the guided tour, the rest of them will be open tours from 1 to 4. Again, you have to register, which I'm going to put here. Then you'll get all the fun information right to your inbox, probably on Thursday. So, Another thing we're doing, oh, I'm clicking the wrong thing. We are actually Kim, who's on right now, our Summit County Regional Coordinator, is presenting on the importance of native plants to building healthy communities. The Summit Medina chapter, they're going to be doing their monthly potluck at the Fairlawn Beth Branch Library. So if you're local to Summit County and maybe you are a vegetarian or interested in being a vegetarian, and you're also interested in native plants, you know, I would encourage you to register and come and show up and see what it's all about.
The real question is whether I can get from the wine tasting over to the Fairlawn Bath Branch Library in time. I don't think I have time.
Oh.
I'd have to be there like right at noon, ready to like sample
Mm-hmm.
in the car
Let's
over.
scoot down. Yeah. Yeah.
Some
We'll save a glass for you.
thought.
Well, I'll come bring you one.
Okay, sounds good.
Something else from National, for the past, I think it's 11 weeks, they have been promoting this Less Lawn, More Life program. And there's been multiple organizations that have been working with this program, and the Wild Ones chapter liaison, Lisa Olson, is actually doing kind of like the closing presentation for it. So that's going to be next Tuesday, so a week from today, 6 p.m. Eastern time. It'll be on YouTube. I don't think you have to register. They just gave us the link. So I think you just log in at 6 and, oop, that's the same one I already sent.
Do you know what a chapter liaison is?
So she is the contact for all the chapters if we need anything from National, or if we have any questions. We can talk to not talk to anyone. If we need something from anyone from National as a chapter, she's kind of our go-to, and either she can answer us or she'll direct us to who can answer our question. So I don't know if that's a great description, but that's how I would explain it. But that's the YouTube link in the chat if you're interested. So she's going to be talking about just growing the native plant movement, which I think would be quite interesting to hear what she is going to talk about. All right, we have a garden maintenance day. So this is Rotary Park. It's out in Amherst. We assisted in putting in this garden in 2023. So we've been assisting in weeding and kind of mulching each year. So there is a registration for this. So that way, if it rains, we have your information, you know, and we can let everybody know on a rain date or anything like that. But obviously dress appropriately for gardening and the weather. Bring water and your garden gloves. And that's going on Saturday, the 26th. So if you're in the area and feel like getting your hands dirty, I would definitely recommend checking it out, especially just to see the garden itself. It would be worth it, I think. All right, more garden tours. On August 3rd, which is a Sunday, we're going to do Cleveland's East Side. So we're going to hit all the heights. We're going to have, we have a host in Cleveland Heights, one in University Heights, and one in Mayfield Heights. Again, this is going to be open house style tours. People can just come and go throughout the garden stops between those hours. It is registration again, so that way we can send you a nice detailed write-up of where everybody is and information that you need. And then last, garden tour. Speaking of Amherst Rotary Park, we have our Lorraine County ones, which is going to be August 9th. So we're going to start at, and this is the exciting part for this one, we're going to start at the Oberlin Prairie and do a guided tour there from 10 to 12. I don't think it's going to be the all 2 hours. I think there's going to be like an intro. Maybe we'll walk for an hour and then an outro. And then there's kind of an hour in between. So that way maybe you can grab lunch. And then we're going to have, again, open 1 to 4. Some home gardens in both Oberlin and Amherst. And then also Amherst Rotary Park's going to be open. It's always open to the public, but if you're in the area, you might as well stop. That also has registration. All right. I think this is my favorite event that we're doing. No offense to the garden tours. One of our board members, Shelley Tender, she works with Medina County Parks District, and herself and the OSU Master Gardener Volunteers of Medina have come up with this fabulous night of nature trivia. And we're going to host it at the Lodge at Allerdale, which is a Medina County Parks venue. I think that's what I wanted to say. And we're going to have snacks. We're going to have giveaways and raffles. It's going to be a great time. I'm going to be there to help MC.
We have to come up with our own teams.
So, great question. Each team is going to be 6 people. If you don't know, say just you and your spouse or you and your BFF want to go, you can just register the 2 of you, and we're going to team people up so that way we get teams of 6. Or if you have 6 people and you're like, we want to win, and then
yeah,
you
that's what I was thinking. Is there a prize? Like, do we get some sort of championship crown or something?
I believe there's a champion. There's a champion something.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a prize.
Something the winner can lord over the heads of everybody else.
Well,
yes, there will be something.
If I'm off that night, we can be in a group.
You're going to be on my team, and we will kill it. We will kill it.
If I have my new car by then, which I hope I do, then yeah, I need to like hang my schedule for the rest of the year like right in front of me, because I hate not knowing if I work that night or not. But that does seem really cool.
You need to find out, because I looked, I did not see Anya on here. She and I played a game before, and my competitive side got out a little bit. So I think this time I'll have her on my team.
Yeah.
We're halfway there. Me, Diab, and Anya.
Yeah, I think she's just. I think she's busy this summer too. I wonder if she's probably busy tonight. But yeah, that'd be a good team.
It would be a good team. So make sure there's instructions on Eventbrite. Once you do register, it'll your confirmation email that comes back to you will have a little bit more instructions. And you know, even if it's just you, don't worry. And we're going to put teams together behind the scenes. So registration, this is a Tuesday night. Registration is going to stop a few days before, so that way we do have time behind the scenes to put teams together. And the doors will open at 6, so we can get everybody settled. You can grab a snack, you can grab a beverage, and trivia will start at 7, and we'll run till 9. So I'm very excited. The Lodge at Allerdale is gorgeous if you haven't been there before. So I think it's just going to be a really fun night. I'm super competitive as well. But I'm not going to.
Yeah, but you're not playing the game. You're going to be organizing it. So
I know. I'll cheer. I'll be a good cheerleader.
Yeah.
So hopefully.
Hopefully
what? I'm sorry. No, it's okay. I'm hoping that this night will be so much fun that we'll just have to.
Ray is a former science teacher. I gotta Ray for our
you know what? I can totally see that. He has that high school teacher that everybody loves kind of vibe.
Totally.
Like,
Oh,
Like,
no,
He would
totally.
probably love to hear you say that.
Yeah.
Ray
like
is
all
one
the
of our,
kids would just love him as a teacher.
Ray's one of our board members, who helped put together the plan for the Impet Park wetland garden. He's very wetland passionate.
Mhm.
All right,
His email is something like Webbed Foot, or his company name is something like Webbed
Webbed
Foot
Foot
something.
Designs. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, real quick. I think this is my last slide, and then we're only at 8:23. Okay, still have a few more minutes.
Oh, I love your names for all these events. Such a cute name.
So looking into the future, our crystal ball, we are going to be doing, or I should say Diab's going to be doing, he is our Cuyahoga County regional coordinator, a summer's last sip social.
Love
Uh,
that.
we're going to do it at Winking Lizard in Independence, hoping, it's kind of central for most people. We think that school will be started by then, so a lot of people might need a break from school schedules just to kind of hang out and talk plants and let loose and just chill for the night. So there will be RSVP for that as well. So, but mark it on your calendars now, and we'll get that out soon. Also this fall, I hate even saying fall because we're in July, but such is life. We're going to be doing a bunch of fall seed collections. So we're going to have various dates starting in September, multiple sites across Northeast Ohio. So these outings, I'm just going to read the slide, are a great way to learn how to responsibly collect seeds and support habitat restoration efforts in our region. Novice and experienced collectors are welcome. Stay tuned for a full schedule. We have a few on the books so far, trying to get a few more. So just things to look forward to as you're looking ahead in your schedules. All right. I think I mentioned at the beginning of the call, we're at like 179 for members. So we're always looking to get up to that 200 number, just like our habitat corridor. So if you don't like us on Facebook or Instagram, go ahead and give us a follow. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your neighbor who has purple coneflower all over their front yard. Spread the news, spread the love. We love talking to each and every one of you when you come to us with questions or ideas. We love seeing you out in the wild at our tabling events. So does anybody have any questions? I kind of blew through the events that we have coming up. So does anybody have any questions for me or for us before we let you go? No, no. Okay. Well, thank you for joining. Kat, thanks for staying on and hanging out with us tonight. We really appreciate your talk and your
Thanks
knowledge.
for all the great information for sure.
Yes.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, now I'm gonna go. It's that time of evening when they're gonna start emerging. Now I want to go see if I can go see some tonight. Like I have
Yes, do
tonight.
that. That's great homework. Go out and
Yes.
check out your fireflies
Yes.
tonight. All right. Thanks, everybody, and have a great rest of the month.